Welcome back to Final Fantasy IX. After the invasion has begun, we're now going to be leading people on the correct path, so yay.
Okay, does anybody remember the tour? Not now, Zidane. No, I'm trying to save your lives.
The history of this fountain
But we
is
have
actually
to follow
really
the tour.
is actually really interesting. So, in 1631, oh god, never mind. Fucking.
If you look to the left, you'll see some Alexandria soldiers. Oh god!
I am gonna say I like the look and feel of Clara, and I'm kind of sad that this city gets, nuked to hell so that you can't revisit it later.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, because Odin blows it up.
Odin blows it up, yeah, with his spear.
Wait, what? Well, he throws a spear at it, and then it blows up.
He's a god. He doesn't have to operate by usual spear logic, okay?
Yeah, his rules are not our rules.
Anthony Hopkins has a really high paycheck. I'm surprised that Final Fantasy IX was able to get them for this project. Like, wow.
No, this Odin actually does shit.
Well, no, Anthony Hopkins kinda does shit. He looks very menacing. On a horse.
Odin is, hands down, by the way, my favorite summon in this series. Which, now that I think about it, it probably contributes to why I'm so forgiving with Final Fantasy XIII. I love that summon, and little things just about the way they handle Odin bug me more than they bug other players. Like, for one thing, Odin's horse is supposed to have 6 legs.
That's mythological. I forget the name of the horse, but it has 6 legs.
And in the series, Sleipnir, in the series, he always has 6 legs.
Yeah.
Except for Final Fantasy XIII and Final Fantasy XIV. And I'm not sure about 11, because I don't know if he even appears there.
Wait, is that it? Is that the reason why people don't like 13? Because Odin has 4 legs.
Okay, well, I know that, like, Shiva turns into a motorcycle. Whose summon was Odin again? Was it?
Odin's was lightning, and he turns into a 4-legged horse, which, it makes a little more sense there, because how are you going to work those extra 2 limbs into a transformer, But in Final Fantasy...
but come on, the horse already has fucking 6 legs. I don't think anybody's really gonna ask how it moves.
Yeah, but they actually do show the Odin transforming into his horse sequence during his summon animations. So, they actually have to have a logical explanation for where the extra limbs come from when he transforms. I understand him having 4 legs in Final Fantasy XIII. Sleipnir in Final Fantasy XIV, which I ride around everywhere, by the way. I actually paid for that. Yes, I'm that big of an Odin fanboy. Has 4 legs, and it's just a regular horse.
Oh.
That bothers me.
Eidolons, summons in disguise. Odin bots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces.
Hey, you know what?
I don't care
how stupid it is. I love Final Fantasy XIII summons. Okay, Saz's summon turns into a hot rod. That is glorious. But
well, I do. Well, the only thing that bothered me was that like they got their Eidolons during like a point of emotional turmoil. Was it? Like, at the end of the game, they forced really lame ones when there were points earlier in the story that would have worked. Like, for Hope, when he should have gotten his Eidolon was when he tried to kill Snow. And instead, like, on Grand Pulse, he gets really whiny about something. I know, you got a boss fight now.
Yeah. And Vanille doesn't get hers until way later, and it feels really random when she does.
They're like, oh shit, we forgot to give everybody a summon.
Oh, it's Sir Fratley.
Tuxedo
Only known as
Mask.
Stranger for now.
Now, here's something I don't get about Amnesia plots, okay? He lost his memory, doesn't remember who he is, what his name is, or whatever, but he still knows how to fight like a boss.
Well, actually, that actually makes an awful lot of sense because it's a different kind of memory. Oh god, I am going to massively misremember my psych classes, but like, and again, this is all like art, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. But like, there are certain memories that are kind of like muscle memories that are like a person with amnesia would know how to tie their shoes still. So like he probably would still be able, just due to like reflex, be able to do all those flippy stuff, but he might not be able to remember what like the name of a certain move is. It makes some amount of sense.
It also helps that he doesn't wear shoes.
Oh yeah, true. It just again, man, memory is weird too. It's they don't really understand it all the way yet. There's no like hormone that is like your 5th birthday party or anything like that. It's just there's still a lot that we don't understand too. So
I kind of like this character moment on Zidane's part because he just you get the feeling that he from his earlier flirting ways that he's got like basically no respect for the romantic ideals, but he gets really really pissed off on Freya's behalf here. Just sort of like that layering to him.
Zidane and Freya knew each other before the game started. Like, do they imply that they had like any sort of thing going on, or is just Zidane being Zidane and flirting with anybody with boobs?
Zidane sort of, rags on her for being a rat girl, but in a good-natured way. Like, they know each other. They have that kind of slightly antagonistic teasing relationship that's not quite friendship, but not quite enemies. Like, it's difficult.
Frenemies.
Frenemies. Yeah, they were frenemies. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because I just the dialogue in the bar where you first see Freya, I couldn't tell if it was implying that they had a thing or if Zidane was just being Zidane. So
Zidane was being self-aware by getting her name wrong, but like is the one time where he makes fun of himself for being that guy who flirts with girls and then forgets their names. But then he calls her Rachel.
So was she just
suddenly Beatrix.
So she was just standing there the whole time. It's just like, guys, I don't care about your romance subplot. I'm trying to be threatening over here.
Hey, we were raiding you.
Now, as I understand it, this is a magic stone that contains an Eidolon.
Yep.
I think it might actually be the one that contains Odin.
No gives these backsies.
Hold on a second. I need to equip everything.
Actually, yeah, that would be kind of ironic if it was the one that contained Odin, because this is Dragoon country, and he kills them all with a spear.
That explodes.
Yeah. Oh, man. I miss Dragoons. Like, I'm glad they're bringing back the jump attack to its full effect in Final Fantasy 15.
They're just badasses, Like, Kain was always one of my favorite characters.
You need the armor, though.
Yeah, the armor.
Cool. If you want the armor, you've got that in Final Fantasy 14. But I'm more interested in the jump attack, which you don't have in Final Fantasy 14. Not to the point where it actually avoids damage. That was one of my favorite things to do in 9 and in 5, and in any other game with a proper Dragoon jump is jump out of the way, and then watch like an area sweeping spell just sweep the board, and then drop down with a spear attack.
Actually, the only time I can think of where I did not like Dragoons was Final Fantasy 3 DS that I played. Now, in these kind of job class games, you tend to have a diverse party so that you can cover all your bases. But for one boss against a guy called Gilgameth, I think is not Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh.
It's like Gigameth.
Gilgameth. Yeah, that's what that's Gilgamesh on a coke. That's Gilgamesh on a coke binge.
The way you're supposed to win the fight is by having a team of 4 Dragoons. And the game gives you like a surplus of Dragoon armor in one of the nearby dungeons, and I'm like, why are they giving me like 12 Dragoon armors? I only need 1 Dragoon. So I sold all of it, and then, that was me being dumb. And then I get to this boss, and it kicks my ass, and I look up online, oh, you're supposed to have a team of 4 Dragoons. Oh, shit. So now I gotta go onto the world map, fight a bunch of random battles so that I get rid of the stat decrease for switching your jobs. Fuck that mechanic in Final Fantasy 3, by the way. And then I gotta deal with, like, having 3 Dragoons with, like, piss-ass, like, tier 1 armor. And, yeah. Fuck that part of the game. So
yeah, well, I'm more a fan of it in Final Fantasy V because you can attach the jump to other classes.
Well, as far as I've heard, like Final Fantasy V is just a better game than 3, and seeing
definitely by and far.
I've played Bravely Default, which seems to be like a spiritual successor to 5 in a lot of ways, and that's a much better game too. So
yeah. Well, the job system in 5 and Tactics was much more interesting because of the cross-class abilities you could learn.
So can we actually beat her this time?
Nope.
No, still helpless.
No, in fact, there's never a point in the game where you can legitimately defeat Beatrix. She is undefeatable.
We killed how many Grand Dragons, and we still can't beat one lone woman?
No, you know, it's interesting because usually when you have this sort of a badass general character in a game, like say Final Fantasy XII's judges or 14's Legatus characters, like they're set up to be this late game boss that you defeat, and they might do this by having a boss battle that you can't win, or they might do it by showing them being badass in cutscenes. Either way, eventually it's a setup for a fight that you're psyched to win. Beatrix isn't that. Beatrix is she's a character, but she's there just to be part of the universe. She's not a major part of the plot, and she's also not there to be set up as a boss character either. It's kind of unusual, actually, but I like it.
This is the last.
I saw you got the Thunder Gloves. Did you get the Ice Brand?
No, I didn't.
Ah, damn.
Unfortunately, with Beatrix, getting all of the steals is kind of hard. Like, I think if you really want to get all of the steals, you'd have to save Scum.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's got a time limit, yeah.
She doesn't kill you again, though.
No. This time she had to retreat though because
they're about to destroy the entire town. So I figured let Odin do the work for me.
Okay. So we're just gonna hop up.
Unfortunately, she didn't expect to hop a ride with the black mages.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not something most people would think of. It's a good thing they have a psychopath for a party leader.
And there's so many black mages that want to teleport in the same location.
Well, yeah.
How convenient.
It makes some sense because they're climbing to the top of the tree so that they can climb up. I would assume whatever teleportation magic they're using, it doesn't go through solid objects. It just flies
It requires a good signal.
Yeah, because these teleportation balls, which are never explained after this point. They never come back.
It's magic.
Oh, also Kina doesn't get a black mage.
So he just runs away.
Kina just leaves. Yep.
Kina eats the black mage.
Yeah, but these things, what they do is they fly up to the airship and then they go inside a special machine, and that's what you materialize inside of and come out of. Now, she takes the stone... Yeah, it is the stone they just got. So she summons Odin from the dark matter. I assume it's dark matter.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Why did they have dark matter inside their super holy magic harp?
Like you just said, it's a super holy magic harp. Requires only the finest of dark matter.
Dark matter is the opposite of holy.
Okay, Odin looks like a badass in this game.
Oh yeah, I love his design in this game. The only Odin design I like more than his Final Fantasy IX design is this Final Fantasy VIII design, which is absolutely amazing. And it's too bad that you only really see it randomly. But yeah, he throws the gun.
Holy shit! You change the music to the scene, and Odin just saved the universe.
But yeah, we actually got to see a legitimate summon spell cast in CG and the actual realistic consequences of using one. And that's the kind of thing I was talking about earlier, because summons appear in the stories, but you never see them wreak this kind of devastation outside of a battle screen. And most of the time, when they do in a battle screen, there's no outside of battle consequences, apart from Final Fantasy IV, the Titan thing. But even then, it was only that one time.
The only thing I find a bit repetitive about them as a story element in this game is that they're used to do the same thing each and every single time.
Blow shit up.
Yeah, just destroy a city.
Well, that's pretty much what you use them for in battles too.
Yeah, I know, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we never actually fight any of these things, do we?
Yeah, you never. You don't fight any of the summons in 9, which is a bit unusual because usually they are reserved for some particularly climactic boss fights.
You can count Ozma in some sort of extent, but that's as far as I think.
They could have made Bahamut a boss. That would have been interesting, considering. But the only time that a summon is not used for nuking the shit out of things is Alexander, the one summon you never actually get to use yourself. And, we'll get to that later. But I thought that was cool, but then I kind of got psyched. I was like, oh, I'm going to get to summon Alexander again. I loved him in Final Fantasy VIII. No, you don't.
Sorry, baby. This doesn't work that way.
You know what's really funny? I think in Final Fantasy XIV, Alexander is a dungeon. Like, you go inside Alexander. I think he's like the Heaven's Ward raid dungeon or something.
So here we have Beatrice questioning, what the hell does Queen Bronze see in the black mages that they don't see in her? Which is a good fucking question, considering it was Beatrice that always gives us shit.
No, we're killing these black mages, like, by the score.
Yeah.
Beatrix is
2-0.
2-0.
Well, they do have a more of a, like, okay, I'm gonna, like, they are more menacing than just soldiers. Like, they're kind of unnatural. And
Well,
also
you
they
know,
use magic, which is, like, scary.
It's actually a good way to underline that Braun is obsessed with magical power right now, because she's got this one really, really skilled warrior who's made a joke of the party on 2 occasions,
But nope, I
she
still want to use the black mages.
You still got black mage and summon magic tunnel vision.
Yeah, Odin one-ups Beatrice.
Oh, wait.
But Beatrice one-ups everything else.
No, wait. No, I got that mixed up. I'm sorry. And, it's probably a shitstorm of comments telling me off for not paying attention. No, we just got the jewel from Clara now. The dark matter that summoned Odin was extracted from Garnet.
Yes.
Right. So
I think the jewel that they got, I think they'll use later to summon Atomos?
Atomos. No. Actually, no. Bahamut, Odin, and Atomos are all summons that Garnet had inside her. I think.
Okay, then what was the thing they got from Clara?
I don't know.
Let me check, because that is... I don't remember that. Let me...
Oh, man.
Or maybe it's just a jewel. Maybe we're overthinking this.
I probably should have busted out my old PS1 copy of this game before we started this commentary and played through it. I chose a really awkward time to get addicted to Final Fantasy XIV. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if it's ever actually explained.
This is a really nice piano piece. Is this Beatrix's theme playing right now?
I think so. It might be.
Also,
Yes!
Kind of a dick move. If you leave the screen and come back, there's a Moogle here you can deliver a letter to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is Beatrix's actual character theme as opposed to her battle theme.
Okay.
I love this. I love this track, and I didn't hear it at first because I got my video volume so goddamn low.
Yeah, I like the... You're just gonna take a nap?
General?
You're just gonna take a nap on the enemy battleship?
Well, I'm at 1 HP.
Who is that? Is that Beatrice again? No, it's summoning tents again. I don't know where.
Camp and party on the end. We're gonna tell scary stories about how...
Yeah, Odin doesn't have one of these.
Well, the soul...
It's funny because, the random tent making thing, it's so much more blatant in Final Fantasy IX than it is in any other game, because in most other games, the tent is just something you use in the menu, and in some other games that try to have you use tents out in the field, 5 and 4 come to mind, they have, like, these kind of meta-concept save points with force fields around them that sort of explain why you can pitch a tent here but nowhere else.
Yeah, it's in dungeons at the very least. Like, if you're on a world map, it makes sense why you can just, pitch a tent anywhere. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, they have these sanctified circles in Final Fantasy IV. And they point up, they straight up tell you the first time you get to one, okay, there's a force field here, you can use your tents and cottages now. And, that makes some amount of sense, even if, when you think about it too hard, you realize it's just a gameplay element. But here, you can use a tent anywhere where there's a Moogle, even on board an enemy airship. That's dumb.
Oh no! Wait, hold on. That means you could use a tent when Beatrix was trying to retreat from the goddamn...
Yeah.
Don't worry. Nothing will happen until you leave.